Good morning and welcome, West Shore. I am Judy Montgomery, one of your worship associates. A special welcome to our guest speaker this morning, Reverend Shirley Nelson. She is a Cleveland area certified interspiritual compassionate counselor and life skills coach, founder of Sands Sacred Circle, which offers retreats and workshops. For more than 30 years, she has lived an engaged spiritual life through mindfulness and compassion as a speaker, facilitator, writer, and a workshop and retreat leader. Shirley offers sessions to individuals to explore their spiritual journey with the intention to raise their consciousness and deepen their understanding of themselves and others. She is a recent graduate of One Spirit Learning Alliance in New York, where she was ordained as an interfaith, interspiritual minister. Welcome, Reverend Shirley. You who feel your heart is breaking, come in.
You who are confused and wondering, come in.
You who are angry, in pain, or not wanting to be here, come in.
You who are hopeful and energized, come in.
Come into this community of your heart where you have been held in love and in comfort, where you have shared your joy and your spirit, where you have asked questions because you felt they needed asking, where you have found friendship and companions, where you have sometimes not agreed and sometimes not felt comforted and sometimes not felt heard.
Bring your broken heart and your grief. Share them.
Bring your confusion and your questions. Share them.
Bring your anger and your pain. Share them.
Bring your hope and your energy. Share them.
For here, in this place, we can be together. We can gather in all the conflicting emotions tumbling around in our heads and our hearts. We bring them together here and lay them on the altar of community. For community means that fragile, not perfect human beings can come together in the name of peace and seek to find peace again.
Peace.
Hope.
Healing.
May it be so.
A special welcome to newcomers and an extra special welcome to the stuffies who are here today. Newcomers, if you are here in person, be sure to stop by the Welcome Center out in the hallway if you haven't already. If you've joined via the live stream, our membership and engagement coordinator, Diane Alcorn, would love to reach out to you. Her contact information is being added to the chat as we speak. We need to acknowledge and thank our tech team who always makes this live stream possible. Yeah. Please see the West Shore Weekly insert in your order of service to learn about other events and activities going on this week in our community. One announcement I want to highlight has to do with Black History Month and how all month long we've been celebrating that musically. To that end, please join us next Sunday, February 27th at 4 p.m. for a program featuring African American composers, particularly those with significant relations to Cleveland and Ohio. Our guest musicians are Christopher Jenkins and Diana White Gould. Mr. Jenkins is the Associate Dean for Academic Support at Oberlin Conservatory. He is currently earning a DMA in viola performance from Cleveland Institute of Music and a PhD in musicology from Case Western Reserve University, where his performance and research focuses on the music of African American composers. His accompanist will be Diana White Gould, a graduate of Oberlin College Conservatory, who is an active soloist, accompanist, and educator. She received a master's in piano performance from Cleveland State University and attended L'École de Fontainebleau in France as a student of Gaby Casadesus. Again, 4 p.m. next Sunday, February 27th. This music will inspire and delight you. From your service auction team, the team would like to thank everyone who participated in the opening festivities last night. The auction opened with a Zoom happy hour and officially went live at 7 p.m. If you couldn't attend last night, the good news is that the auction will be available all week next week until 6 p.m. on Saturday, February 26th, and it's free. All you have to do is register and log in right there on the web page. If you wish to participate, careful instructions are available in a link from the Friday e-news and in emails sent on Thursday and Saturday. If you have trouble, call the church office on Monday and a staff member will guide you through it. Something new. Each day, one or more specialty items will be released for bidding. That means you should check back each day for the chance to purchase some très magnifique options. And don't forget to buy your raffle tickets. The total as of last night was $7,560. One person last night said, we're going to make it to $10,000 because tickets are on sale all week. So you probably want to be a part of this. The drawing will take place next Sunday during this service. So see you at the auction. Once again, welcome. We're glad you're here. We light this chalice to find inner peace, love for each other, and faith in ourselves. Also to be welcoming to whomever we meet, and kind to all living creatures. So gather around this light of hope as we share this time together. Let us witness to the unity of our spirit by saying together our unison affirmation words. Love is the spirit of this church, and service is its law. This is our great covenant, to dwell together in peace, to seek the truth in love, and to help one another. El amor es el espíritu de esta iglesia, y el servicio su ley. Este es nuestro magnífico convenio, vivir juntos en paz, buscar la verdad en el amor y ayudarnos los unos a los otros.
Morning, remembering the journey of freedom. The land we are on was once another's. We mourn the legacies of oppression. Healing is our way forward. Joy is the birthright of hope.
As feels mutually comfortable, and you might look up and wave too. And now we turn to our first hymn of the day, number 170. We are a gentle, angry people. I invite you to hum along or sway with me. Please stand as you are willing and able. When Reverend Shirley said her theme was about seeing through the eye of the heart, I thought immediately about nonviolent communication, or NVC. Some of you have heard me talk about that before. I've been thinking about how I am. I'm so grateful to be a positive and compassionate person. I don't know how much is because I was raised UU, and how much is because I've studied NVC for so many years. Unitarian Universalism and NVC have so many parallels, and I'm so very grateful to have both of them in my life. NVC is a way of being in which we value others' needs as much as our own. It is consciously choosing to respond to life with compassion, peace, and harmony. This, to me, is seeing with the eye of the heart. I remember the time that a car swerved into my lane and I yelled, "You idiot!" And then I realized it was because I'd been frightened, because of course I have a need to be safe. I don't know why that driver swerved, but I choose to believe that they were trying to miss a pothole or something. They really were not an idiot. Recently, the laundry really piled up, and the human part of me tends to think, ugh, I wish I didn't have to do all that laundry. But what I tell myself is, I so love it when all the laundry is clean and I have all kinds of choices about what to wear. Recently, I'd been putting off a phone call to a friend because I was embarrassed. I had double booked myself for an evening in March, and I suddenly realized that not only was I embarrassed, but I'd been saying some pretty unkind things to myself because I'd made a mistake. Instead, I wanted to be compassionate with myself about the mistake. I'm human after all, and reminded myself that I value clarity, honesty, and straightforwardness in my dealings with others, so the solution was to just call her and explain the situation. And of course, it worked out just fine. I just had to do it. Last weekend, I was at a brunch where most of the time was spent talking about pets. It was enjoyable for a while because there was an adorable puppy to pet, and we could all empathize with stories about losing pets. But after a while, I realized I was having what one might call a negative emotion, and I understood I was feeling frustrated and bored. When I'm having negative feelings, I know it's because I have some need that isn't being met, or if I'm having positive feelings, it's because my needs are being met. But at that point, I realized I just wanted to go home. I realized later that my need during that time had been for some more authentic communication. I love my pets, but I was tired of talking about them. I really appreciate those times when I can look at my feelings and realize which needs are being met and which are not. All of this is seeing through the eyes of the heart. Every now and then, I'm with someone who says, "Did you see how rude they were?" Well, it would be very easy to just agree. But I tend to look at things differently. First, I recognize that calling someone rude is judging their behavior and judging it by my rules. I learned a long time ago that just because I have made rules for how I behave in various situations, everyone doesn't live by the same ones. Can you believe I even had rules for how to read the Sunday funnies? Yeah, you had to read certain pages first. Anyway, back to the rude judgment. I try to stay in my heart and wonder. I wonder what's going on with them that they're behaving that way. I wonder what needs they're trying to meet. By staying in my heart like that, I let loose of judgments and just feel compassion. How many of you have rules for how to load the dishwasher? I do too. I know it is because I have such a need for efficiency. And if you load it right, my way, you can fit more in. And by the way, it's also easier and quicker to put things away. But I realized some time ago that it was ridiculous to have rules for loading the dishwasher. So fortunately, these days, when someone is over for dinner and starts to load the dishwasher afterwards, I smile to myself, at myself, feel the gratitude for the help, and just go on with life. Now, how about the right way to fold the towels? I'll leave it there.
Let us now enter into a time of prayer and meditation. Settle in a little more comfortably and close your eyes if you wish. Begin by taking a deep breath and noticing the feeling of air filling your lungs. Hold your breath for a few moments. Release the breath slowly and let any tension leave your body. Take in another deep breath and hold it. Again, slowly release the breath. I'm going to share with you the lyrics of a song that was written by India Ari titled Eyes of the Heart. Close your eyes. The physical can be so blind. In my eyes, the innocent can be so wise. It's not about black or white. this is wrong or right? Can you take a stranger and treat him like your brother? Love don't start with the eyes. Love starts with the heart. Look deep down inside, and all that you have a chance to make a choice, to make a change. So make the choice to look with the eyes of your heart. Close your eyes. The light of love will lead the way. In the eyes of a child, we're all the same. If we're all God's children, the logic is so simple. The one you call stranger is really your brother. Love don't start with the eyes. Love starts with the heart. Look deep down inside, and all that you have a chance to make a choice, to make a change. So make the choice to look with the eyes of your heart. No, I don't mean to preach. Some may say that it's unrealistic, because none of us is perfect. But the way that I see it, why don't you just try to see with different eyes? Could you see that what is done to you is done to me? We want humanity. Yeah. Oh, love don't start with the eyes. Love starts with the heart. Look deep down inside. In all that you have a chance to make a choice, to make a change, so make the choice to look with the eyes of your heart. Love don't start with the eyes. Love starts with the heart. Look deep down inside. You have the chance to make a choice, to make a change. So take the chance to make a choice, to make a change. So make the choice to look with the eyes of your heart. And so it is, and you may open your eyes. And now you are invited to write something down that expresses your heart. A need, a hope, a hurt, something you're thankful for. Prayer cards are available to you in the pew in front of you. What you write will be held in confidence. Once you are done, hold on to your card. You will place your card in the offering basket when that goes around. And if you are at home and wish to participate, please share your thoughts with Reverend McCarr directly via an email. Again, you would place your prayer card in the offering basket when that goes around in a moment. For now, please hold up your cards high. These are the sorrows and joys of our hearts, which Reverend McCarr will take into his meditations this week and pray for all that is our life.
We sing our thanks and praise, for all life is a gift which we are called to use to build the common good and make our own days glad.
Once a month, West Shore takes an outreach offering. This offering adds to all the other ways we make a positive impact beyond these walls. Sometimes the outreach offering is dedicated to area nonprofits, but other times the offering is meant to support unique initiatives that are equally worthy. To this end, we are inviting people to give generously to what we are calling our Honorarium Fund. It's a new fund created in recognition of how powerful it is to invite outside speakers to share their expertise with us in various forums, perhaps in a Spark program, or in a congregation-wide book study, or a film series, or something else. However, we are running up against the challenge of fairly compensating our guest speakers for their time with us. We want to be fair, and we want to be in a position to invite more outside speakers. With your help, our coordinating team will have the financial resources available to enable each of our 5 program councils to invite guest speakers in for special programs. Doing this benefits the speakers, and the good work they are doing in the larger world gets a boost. We here at West Shore get the privilege of learning from fresh and wise voices. It is a win-win situation. Thank you for being generous.
Thank you, David. That's beautiful. And thank you, Judy, for that amazing reflection. It got a chuckle out of everybody, I think. Welcome, West Shore, and all of the little furry friends up here up front. I'm happy to be back with you again. And today we're going to talk about the eye, or I'm going to talk about the eye of the heart. A few weeks ago, I was inspired by Reverend Anthony McCarr's sermon in which he talked about justice-heartedness. Because it was an unusual term, he extended an invitation to the congregation to share their vision of what that means to them. Upon reflecting, what came to me was the eye of the heart, a way of looking at life with the intent to understand self and others, and allowing compassion to be the foundation of your process of discernment. When Judy mentioned her understanding of the eye of the heart, I noticed when she first mentioned to me that we had come up with a very similar description of what it is. So I really appreciate how it was reflected in her presentation. So it's a way of looking at life with the intent to understand self and others, and allowing compassion to be the foundation of your process of discernment. In my sermon today, I will share some stories and situations that are examples of what I mean by seeing with the eye of the heart. There are many attributes that can be used to try and describe what it means. However, I've narrowed it down to 7 words and titled them The Significant 7, as a way to identify some of the more salient factors of the practice of seeing with the eye of the heart. The first word is collaborative. Willing and able to work together to build bridges of love, You might think of someone like Dr. Martin Luther King, or you might think of yourself, or Reverend Anthony McCarr. The second word is compassionate, someone willing to go beyond the obvious to understand any given situation and to not judge it. One of the giants in the spiritual world is Gandhi. One of the practical in our world is the pastoral care team. The third word is connected, one who has an interest and ability to lovingly connect to others, has total access to their own emotions, and is spiritually mature and fully integrated within. Which congregants do you think about that reflect this? The fourth word is curious, one who possesses a sense of wonder and awe and amazement. And the first person that came to my mind was Mr. Rogers or Dr. Seuss. Certainly, one with an almost childlike zest, seeing with the eye of the heart. The fifth word is interdependent, one who believes that we are better together and is willing to give and receive help as needed. Today, many place a high value on being independent, but seeing with the eye of the heart requires us to be more interdependent. The sixth word is relatable, one who has an ease in approaching the issues of life, people, and is comfortable in their own skin. One who values relationships. And the seventh word is teachable, one who is open to learning more about self and others. And I think all of you who are lifelong learners, who desire to grow personally and spiritually, fit into that category of being teachable, no matter how much you know, no matter how old you are. So these are just a few of the words that come to mind in consideration of how we might offer solutions that are centered in love and justice for the healthy growth of our communities and for our personal and political aspirations. The question that I wrestle with when conflict arises is, how can I see this from another's point of view? All too often, we shut down because we don't understand what is being said, and we give up on a potentially good relationship because of it. Sometimes the problem is the other person, and sometimes it's ourselves. Even in our best efforts, we can be short-sighted and not realize that additional information is needed in order to successfully communicate. Many things can happen to derail a relationship that neither party is aware of. In order to move forward, sometimes we have to step back and take another look and consider whether or not we can say things differently so that others can more readily understand our point of view. Recently, while talking to a friend, I was amused when she told me that the reason I was not able to see what she saw is because I have tunnel vision. At first, it seemed like an offhand response to my comment about how she seemed to notice so much more than I did while driving along. Her response was, "That's because when you're driving, you have tunnel vision, and you keep your eyes on the road in front of you." Somehow, I got stuck on, "You have tunnel vision," and forgot about the rest of it, and it took 5 or 10 minutes to sort it out and to realize she was not saying that's the way I am on a regular basis, but that is how I am while driving. Fortunately, or unfortunately, she's right. And I was relieved to know that is not how she views me overall. Sometimes little things that can escalate into a big deal, but that one did not. We talked about it more in depth and agreed that our tendency is to give each other the benefit of the doubt. I mean, we choose to assume the best in each other when there is a misunderstanding instead of jumping to conclusions and making assumptions. In other words, we see each other through the eyes of the heart. One of my favorite quotes on our attempts to understand better is by Paula Underwood Spencer. She says, "If you want to be truly understood, you need to say everything 3 times in 3 different ways, once for each ear and once for the heart." I'm going to say it 2 more times. If you want to be truly understood, you need to say everything 3 times in 3 different ways, once for each ear and once for the heart. One more time. If you want to be truly understood, you need to say everything 3 times in 3 different ways, once for each ear and once for the heart. Can you imagine how long conversations would be if that happened? I like that quote so much that I included it in one of my drawings of a rather weird-looking rabbit. Oh, it's gone now, but the rabbit was there. Why say it for the heart? Because emotions are generated in the heart and consist of feelings that the mind cannot fathom. When we believe something with our hearts rather than understand it with our minds, we gain deeper insight into any given situation. Feelings that live in the heart, such as friendship, love, truthfulness, loyalty, faithfulness, compassion, empathy, sincerity, and 1,000 more things that are signs of our humanity, are typically not experienced in the mind. When we see with the eye of the heart, our tendency is to explore other possibilities when having difficulty getting our needs met, or trying to understand someone else's perspective. Let me tell you a story about a farmer and her grandson that illustrates this. Popo, a 76-year-old grandmother, owned a beautiful farm in Hawaii with acres and acres of land. She had cows and horses and all kinds of fruits and vegetables that were growing on her land. She felt extremely grateful for her life and looked forward to sharing her good fortune and passing it along to her grandson one day. Popo's grandson's name was Poha. When Poha turned 2 years old, Popo began taking him with her on long walks around the farm. There was nothing more delightful to Popo than to be able to show Poha all of the land and the animals and food that she was growing. These walks went on for weeks before Popo began to get frustrated. Look at the cows and horses. No matter how excited she was about them, her grandson seemed oblivious to it all. This troubled her greatly, and she became so exasperated that she figured the child just didn't have any interest and she might as well give up. But before giving up, Popo tried one more thing. Slowly, ever so slowly, she stooped down to the level of her grandson to see what he could see. To her dismay, at the level of the child's eyes, all she could see was grass. No wonder he couldn't see the cows and the horses. So Popo laughed because now she could see what the problem was. She then scooped up her grandson and put him on her shoulders so he could see what was making her so excited. When Poha saw the amazing cows and horses, he clapped his hands and began to laugh and point. The excitement that the two of them shared enriched their relationship, and the pleasure of walking the farm increased exponentially for both of them. Once Poha could see what Popo saw, his little heart opened and he was filled with love and delight for the farm animals also. So remember, when you are having difficulty understanding another, try to see what they are seeing. According to the scriptures, it is the heart that imagines. Genesis 6:5. Understands. Matthew 15:13. Reasons. Mark 2:8. Thinks. Luke 9:47. Believes. Romans 10:9. And loves. 1 Peter, 1st verse, 1st chapter, 22nd verse. These passages identify the scriptural heart as the mind or seat of the intelligence. The heart brings us back into balance, creating congruence in our lives. Once we're grounded there, we can use the brain the way it was meant to be used, as a fabulous computer to formulate plans, create strategies, and gather resources to manifest the desires of our hearts. Intuitively, we know that we are physical and spiritual beings. We know that the natural eye opens us up to a world that is sometimes beyond belief in its beauty and delight. However, we also know that there is a deeper measure of truth, a way of seeing that is beyond what is natural, a way of seeing with our feelings. In complex situations, it opens us up to be compassionate and understanding instead of fearful and unable to trust. Recently deceased, well-known author and path-breaking Black feminist Bell Hooks reminds us that we do have a choice. We can move against fear, alienation, and separation. We can choose love. In her words, cultures of domination rely on the cultivation of fear as a way to ensure obedience. In our society, we make much of love and say little about fear. Yet, we are all terribly afraid most of the time. As a culture, we are obsessed with the notion of safety. Yet, we do not question why we live in states of extreme anxiety and dread. Fear is the primary force upholding systems of domination. It promotes the desire for separation, the desire not to be known. When we are taught that safety always lies in sameness, then difference of any kind will appear as a threat. When we choose to love, we choose to move against fear, against alienation and separation. The choice to love is the choice to connect, to find ourselves in the other. Bell Hooks. Whatever is in your heart is mirrored out into the world. If your foundational understanding is that the world is not connected, we are not interdependent, and that we are chiefly competitive, you will find your degree of trust limited, and you will not be able to wholeheartedly release your compassion. On the other hand, if you believe in a world that is woven together and interconnected, then there's no limit to the amount of trust that you can invoke. This point of view is in alignment with the seventh principle of Unitarian Universalism: respect for the interdependent web of all existence of which we are a part. Can I get an amen? Okay. We are interconnected with all of life. As old forms crumble and fall, such as systemic racism, and new systems are established, what do you see yourself doing to create a better world? Do you believe we are intertwined and that everybody counts and everybody matters? Do you see yourself as being part of the solution and not part of the problem? In other words, will you try to see with the eye of the heart so that beloved communities can flourish? There's a story of two tribes who came across each other in the beginning of time. The fearful tribe said, "You're different, go away." The other said, "You're different, come teach me what I don't know." The tribe who said, "Go away," believes that human beings by nature are self-serving and untrustworthy and in need of control. They also believe in stringent laws and constraints, both moral and legal, to assure that people don't run amok. The other tribe, who asked to be taught, believes that human beings by nature are kind and trustworthy. They believe in cultivating laws that empower freedom to ensure that people actualize their gifts through relationships. The tribe who said, "Come teach me," sees with the eye of the heart. The truth is that we are born into both tribes and can move from one to the other depending on the level of our fear. Excuse me. The tribe who asks to be taught fosters wonder, learning, compassion, and cooperation. They are interdependent and acknowledge that we need each other and that our diversity of gifts make life whole. What the heart sees, the eye cannot see. The heart can see, hear, and spiritually discern over and beyond our natural reasoning. Our natural eyes see what the brain wants to see, but the eye of the heart feels what our brain cannot even think. Our brains cannot feel, so the only thing that the natural eye can do is literally see whatever it is focused on. Even if you are not religious, intuitively you know that we are more than flesh and blood. It is through our emotions that we actually gain perspective on things that help lead us to the truth of any given situation. The heart is the seat of emotions, and it is synonymous with affection. It is life-giving and complex, and it is a symbol for love. The heart represents the central wisdom of feeling as opposed to the head wisdom of reason. It is the locus of physical and spiritual being. Healthy connections with others rely on the capacity we have to be whole and congruent within. The more we experience our own wholeness, the more we are able to help others do the same. When we see from the eye of the heart, bringing into any situation a sense of compassion and love, we are able to minimize social conflict and allow others to be strong in their identity without being intimidated by who they are. Former United States Representative John Lewis left us with powerful words of wisdom to remind us to listen to the whispers of our own heart and to shine our light in such a way that we only affirm love while speaking out against injustice. In his words, "You are a light. You are the light. Never let anyone, any person, or any force dampen, dim, or diminish your light. Study the path of others to make your way easier and more abundant. Lean toward the whispers of your own heart. Discover the universal truth and follow its dictates. Release the need to hate, to harbor division, and the enticement of revenge. Release all bitterness. Hold only love, only peace in your heart, knowing that the battle of good to overcome evil is already won. Choose confrontation wisely, but when it is your time, don't be afraid to stand up, and speak out against injustice. And if you follow your truth down the road to peace and the affirmation of love, if you shine like a beacon for all to see, then the poetry of all the great dreamers and philosophers is yours to manifest in a nation, a world, community, and a beloved community that is finally at peace with itself. And those are the words of former United States Representative John Lewis. Some of you may be old enough to remember a TV program from back in the day called The Naked City. Anybody remember? It would always end with this saying. See if I can say it right. There are 8 million stories in the naked city. This has been one of them. So that was always the ending. I will share one more story with you, one among millions, that illustrates the miracles that can occur when seeing with the eye of the heart. Xavier McElrath Bay was convicted of murder and incarcerated at the age of 14 years old. He was a member of a gang, and he aided and abetted in the murder of 13-year-old Pedro Martinez by helping to lure him to a location where other gang members waited. Although Xavier did not participate in the murder, he served time because he was the lookout man while the other gang members beat 13-year-old Pedro to death. Pedro was the youngest member of his family, and his older sisters and brother loved him immensely. Two of his sisters were in the early stages of pregnancy at the time of his murder. They were so grief-stricken that the trauma contributed to them losing their babies. An older brother couldn't take the pain. At 19 years old, he threw himself from a moving pickup truck in a suicide attempt, only to end up paralyzed and in a nursing home, unable to speak or breathe on his own. In spite of the pain and grief that Pedro's family suffered, they visited Xavier in prison because they wanted to know what happened. After witnessing the extreme grief and remorse that Xavier was dealing with, Pedro's youngest sister found it in her heart to forgive him, and so did other family members. They encouraged Xavier to build a life for himself, and as a result, he did. Xavier was sentenced to 25 years in prison, but he only served 13 years because he was a model prisoner. He earned a degree in social work while in prison. In 2016, at the age of 46, he worked as a youth advocate, lobbying Utah lawmakers on juvenile sentencing reform. At that time, he continued to be in good relationship with Pedro's family, and he had a 10-year-old daughter of his own. There's a lot of injustice in this world, but there are also stories of redemption. This has been one of them. When we are able to see with the eye of the heart, we become contributors to the miracles that are possible in the midst of much of the madness we see in the world. Amen. Join us in singing hymn number 205, Amazing Grace. Please stand as you are willing and able.
How precious did that grace appear the hour I first believed. Though many dangers, toils, and snares I have already come, 'tis grace that brought me safe thus far, and grace will lead me home. When we've been there 10,000 years, bright shining as the sun. We've no less days to sing God's praise than when we'd first begun.
Please be seated. Now, those of you at home, please bring your chalice close to extinguish it as I extinguish the chalice here. We extinguish our flames, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. These we carry with us until we meet again.
Remember coffee hour, which starts at 11:30, and sermon chat at 12:30. Both are on Zoom, and the links for both are in the e-news. And now the benediction. May the Eternal bless and protect you. May the Eternal smile on you and favor you. May the Eternal befriend you and prosper you. And as Judy said, remember the eye of the heart and speak gently if the towels aren't folded the way you think they should be. And so may it be. See you next week, West Shore. Until then, love and courage and cheer to all.